No, you can't. At least that's what I found out during a recent playthrough of the game. I tried doing a pacifist run, which I will be uploading in the next few days. It was originally about 4 hours of footage, and I managed to cut it down to less than 2 hours, which is a lot more digestible to say the least. But yeah, you cannot beat Crash 2 without defeating any enemies. Obviously, we're not talking about the bosses here, because obviously that would be downright impossible without cheating. I'm mainly talking about the main levels here, but I thought before I upload that playthrough, what I would do is I would break down each level one by one very briefly, describing why some levels are possible and some levels are not possible, or impossible, as a more verbose person may say. Now, the criteria here is very simple. In the process of getting a crystal or a gem, you have to defeat an enemy. It renders the challenge impossible. It's as simple as that, really. And let's just go through each level one by one. Turtle Woods, you can get the crystal and the gems on there quite easily. The biggest challenge are these pits, which you can actually avoid going in with a little bit of sliding trickery. It is a little difficult to do it, but with enough practice it is possible. Snow Go, unfortunately, you can't get any crystals or gems on that level. There is this seal right here which is impossible to get past, which obviously renders the crystal and the box gem out of the question. The red gem here, you access that through a special secret, you f***ing idiot. The red gem you access through a secret entrance on another level, and in the process you have to defeat some enemies, which renders this challenge impossible. Hangate is also a complete bust, because of some of the piranha plants are impossible to get past without defeating. You can get the crystal, the box gem, or the extra gem. Luckily, the pits is completely possible, and so is Crash Dash, because there aren't any enemies in that level anyway. Snowbiz is a bit of a mixed bag. You can get the crystal because there are no enemies on the main path, but you can't get the box gem and you can't get the extra gem because you need the red gem, which I've already talked about is impossible to get. Air Crash is another bust as well, because there is literally a piranha plant near the beginning, which you can't get past. Now, there is a secret entrance to Air Crash, but it only lets you bypass the first piranha plant. You still have to beat this second one here, which is impossible to get past. And of course you can't go on the death route on Air Crash because you need to defeat some enemies to get there in the first place. Bearer is completely possible. There are no enemies in that you can defeat. Crash Crush is the same. The next level is the Eel Deal, and you can get the crystal, the box gem, and the extra gem, although it is a little bit tricky. Plant food, like the other jet ski levels, is completely impossible to get anything on because those annoying piranha plants being in the way once more. Serial Later is a mixed bag. You can get the crystal on the gem. It is a little bit tricky, but you can do it. But you can't get the extra gem because we couldn't get the gold gem from plant food. Naturally, Bear Down is completely possible because there are no enemies in that one anyway. And Road to Ruin is possible, although it is a little bit tricky. First things first, there are these TNT crates which normally would kill the enemies, but if you trigger them and run away, the enemies despawn and they come back, so technically you're not killing them, so you can bypass them. Typically you'd use the secret entrance from digging it to access this extra area in Road to Ruin, but you need to kill an enemy to do that, so we can't actually do it, but you can actually slide across this pit with enough skill. So yeah, you can get everything in this level, although it is a little bit tricky. Unbearable is another mixed bag. Yes, you can get the crystal. There are a few enemies on the main route, but they're not that bad to be honest. But we cannot get the box gem because as far as I'm concerned, these guys in the secret route, you can't bypass them without killing them. You can't even jump over them. Hanging Out is another possible one. You can get the crystal and the box gem pretty easily for the most part. Digging It is another mixed bag. You can get the crystal and the extra gem, but you can't get the box gem because the level requires some backtracking and those bees are impossible to get past. Also, these series of electric gates are incredibly hard to get past. It took me multiple tries. Cold Hard Crash is a complete bust. There is this hedgehog right here which is impossible to get past. Ruination is possible, although this particular gorilla right here is quite tricky. You have to sort of weirdly slide into him and then slide above him. Behaving is another mixed bag. You can get the crystal and the box gem, although it's very tricky. You may have to use masks or some insane dodging skills to get past these hammer guys, although you can't get the purple gem in the hidden route because you can't get past this pit here. While you can't get the box gem or the extra gem from piston it away, you can get the main crystal, although it is very tricky. Many of the enemies are very tricky to get past. You have to use a lot of maneuvering skills, but you can't get the box gem or the extra gem simply because in the death route there are certain enemies that you are required to bounce on to get past, to advance. Rocket is completely impossible. These enemies right here require you to kill them to advance. Night Fright is completely possible. Pack Attack, like Rocket, is impossible for the same reason, and Spaced Out is a complete bust because of this specific enemy here blocking your path. And naturally you can't get the extra gem because we haven't got all the coloured gems. Of course, there are two more bonus levels to talk about, and that is Totally Bear, which naturally is possible to complete because there are no enemies you can actually defeat, and Totally Fly is possible as well, although it is a little bit tedious. So that is the rundown of what is and what isn't possible in this game. At least from my research, I imagine if other people tried, they might be able to whittle it down to less impossibilities, which I heavily encourage. I would absolutely love it if people could work through this game and figure out ways to get everything without killing enemies. That'd be really interesting. I hope you found this informative, and I hope you find the upcoming playthrough entertaining. Anyway, until next time, take care, and thanks for watching. I think that was acceptable.